Tanzania, officially known as the United Republic of Tanzania, is a coastal country situated in the east of Africa. This is its flag. The blue represents the Indic Ocean, the green the agriculture, the gold the wealth of its mines, and the black the skin color of the biggest part of the population. Over 100 different languages are spoken in Tanzania, making it the most linguistically diverse country in East Africa. The country doesn't have an official language, although the national language is Swahili. Swahili is used in parliamentary debate, in the lower courts, and as a medium of instruction in primary school. English is used in foreign trade, in diplomacy, in higher courts, and as medium of instruction in secondary and higher education, although the Tanzanian government is planning to discontinue English as a language of instruction. Approximately 10% of Tanzanians speak Swahili as a first language, and up to 90% speak it as a second language. Taking into account the fact that there are so many languages in the country, it's easy to think that this might affect the stability of the country due to the difficulty its citizens or politicians might have when communicating. Regarding geography, the country is mountainous and densely forested in the northeast. Three of Africa's Great Lakes are partly within Tanzania. So the north and west lie Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake, and Lake Tanganyika, the continent's deepest lake known for its unique species of fish. The Kalambo Falls, located on the Kalambo River at the Zambian border, is the second highest uninterrupted waterfall in Africa. The Menai Bay Conservation Area is Zanzibar's largest marine protected area. With all this information, we might not say that Tanzania is a dry country. On the contrary, we can firmly assume that it is a country with plenty of water. Nowadays, all these facts have converted a very rich country, as in nature concerns, into a water crisis where thousands of lives are in risk every year. European colonialism began in mainland Tanzania during the late 19th century, when Germany formed German East Africa. The mainland was governed as Tanganyika, remaining a separate colonial jurisdiction. Following their respective independence in 1961 and 1963, the two entities merged in April 1964 to form the United Republic of Tanzania. Nevertheless, this is not an isolated problem in Tanzania. Talking about the general case of the whole continent, Africa faces endemic poverty, food insecurity, and pervasive on their development, with almost all countries lacking the human, economic, and institutional capacities to effectively develop and manage their water resources sustainably. Therefore, a large number of countries on the continent still face huge challenges in attempting to achieve the United Nations water-related Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs. Everyday water supplying is a real problem that Tanzanians have to face, which makes the situation very alarming in many parts of the country. Aridity is extended to a third of the region, causing a high difficulty to get clean water in good conditions for the population. The three lakes, Victoria, Tanganyika, and Malawi, and the Kilimanjaro Glacier, make a great inequalities between the 97% of the urban zone that has access to depurated water, while the number descends till 44% for rural zones. Apart from the problem that this entails, it is some the higher growing of the population, thus the increase of the water waste. Apart from the reduced disponibility of water sources, there exists the problem of the healthy maintenance. The main water source is the underflow water extracted through the water wells. These are mainly situated in contaminated zones such as industrial or fecal. As a consequence, the probability of contracting a disease as a cholera is utterly high. These terrible conditions that water suffers originates the disease of around the half of the population. Aware of this extreme situation, in the last few years many programs of water minister and sanity have been developed by both Tanzanian government and NGOs. In order to decide whether there is a need for some infrastructures, it is important to consider those that are socially beneficial. It is necessary to take into account the social benefits that have a serious impact on the economy. These benefits do not have a fixed and determined price. For this reason, it is important to assign them an approximate monetary value. Here you can take a look at the different benefits depending on different sectors. According to the data offered by the WHO, some Tanzanians need between 6 and 7 hours to collect the water, so half an hour of time is considered an underestimation. An average time of 3 hours, to avoid overestimation, is used in obtaining the water of improved quality and with an improved sanitation system. And to avoid duplicating the values of the time saved, it is subtracted half an hour. 3 minus half an hour equals 2.5 hours per day. Then we multiply this by all the days in a year and we have the result of 912.5 hours per year and per citizen. This time can be invested in many other profitable activities. In order to calculate the minimum salary generated with the saved time, it is necessary to divide gross national income of Tanzania by the quantity of hours in 1 year, and we obtain almost 10 cents per hour. And finally, if we multiply this by all the profitable hours in a year, we obtain $94.9 per year per every citizen. If we multiply this by the 30% of population in Tanzania that lost time for obtaining water and considering only adults, the result is $1.5 billion per year. This is the value of time saved during the first year of improvement. Table 1. Benefits. The calculations have also taken into account the likely growth of life expectancy, since by improving the quality of water and health, the time spent by students studying will also increase, which will possibly increase the level of education of the population, and this, in addition to providing a slight decrease in mortality rate, increases the life expectancy with each year, as it is shown in the table. According to the table, the improvement of water quality and health implies an income of $30.3 billion in 8 years, from the end of the works and facilities, from 2017 until the year 2025. Here, you can take a look at the table. Table 2. Cost. According to the table, the cost to carry out the improvement of the quality of water and sanitation implies an expense of $1.6 billion in 8 years from the end of the works and facilities, from 2017 until the year 2025. It is possible to see that the first year the initial investment has to be $912 million to complete the construction and then pay the maintenance, the salary of the employees, and the possible contingencies. After comparing the two tables, we can determine that the ratio of benefits and costs, if we divide the total benefit by the total cost obtained over 8 years, we obtain 18. We can infer that it is a good result and the project turns out to be profitable, since the mentioned ratio is very high. For every dollar we would obtain 88.19% of profit. The improvement of water quality and health must first be carried out in those areas where it is most needed and where it can be quickly executed according to its geographical position, nearby materials available, etc. Here you can take a look at the table. Conclusion. After making the cost and benefit analysis, it is possible to determine the ratio of benefits and costs. If we divide the total benefit by the total cost obtained over 8 years, we obtain 18. For every dollar, we will obtain 88% of profit. We can infer that it is a good result and the project turns out to be profitable, since the mentioned ratio is very high, so it would be a good decision to execute this project. The main problem of this project is the high cost that is necessary to pay to start its execution, $900 million, and finish the construction in 1 year. But after completing the project, apart from the social benefit, the economic benefit will be 88%, according to the time saved that allows the improvement of water quality and health. As a consequence of the recovered time of 30% of the adult population that previously needed 6 or 7 hours to collect the water, and also of the reduction of the diseases caused by the insufficiency of the health, the gross national income per capita of Tanzania will grow, and so allowing in the future, little by little, to stabilize the economic balance of the country. Seeing the benefits that this project will generate, the alternative of not doing it is discard, since mostly it only generates dispersions, lost time and diseases. When considering the alternative of doing the project, the main task, apart from getting enough money, lies in the correct distribution of goods. The improvement of sanitation and water quality should be done first in those areas where it is most needed and where it can be executed quickly according to the geographical positions, nearby available materials, technology, etc. With the map provided by the organization Engineering Without Borders, it is possible to see the areas with the lowest and highest water coverage in Tanzania. According to the map, the areas most in need are Kitunda, Morogoro, and Singida. In these areas, we'll try to make the improvement first. We see that Singida is near a lake. If the improvement will be made more easily in the area. However, the other areas of Morogoro and Kitunda are not as close to the water as Singida, so they will need more budget when executing the project. These 3 zones are some of the poorest in Tanzania, without adequate technology and without a qualified staff, which would make improvements difficult. There is also the city of Pwani, one of the areas that is closest to the water, which needs improvement. Being close to the water, it will be easier to make improvements. For this reason, it will be one of the first areas to start. The others with the least water supply and with poor sanitation are in general those located near Singida. Despite being close to the lake, these areas contain many mountains, which will hinder the transport of materials, so the improvement will be made as far as possible, but will not be prioritized over other areas. On the other hand, the Mweya area also needs improvement. It is an area that has water at the city's borders and also a sophisticated technology to contribute to the improvement of water and sanitation, for which improvement will be easily executed in this area. After these improvements, we'll proceed to work with other areas of Tanzania, allowing a global improvement of the country.